Oh yeah, expect some power from that right arm of Alayo as we get underway in our gold medal match. Argentina in white, Cuba in blue. Off the hands goes Alayo, fading away, swinging high.
Yeah, look for Tomas to try and work that corner of Alayo. He was very good at it in the semifinal. Oh, big block to start Cuba.
And I like that blocking scheme from Cuba, as we saw earlier. Tomas Capogrosso and Nico. Nico lets to go behind and just slap it back to that cross court. Cuba did their homework. Dropping serve. Good effort here from Argentina to even keep this one alive. Oh boy. I think Alayo feeling himself early.
You know, it's important. You ever talk to a bodybuilder? You know, flexing takes practice, takes training, and Alayo got plenty of it.
Tempo out wide, the little jump set from Tomas. You don't see that too often. Catching Alayo just a second late. That's the perks of the jump set offense.
Yeah, got him to bite.
In the middle. Alayo will stay in the middle. Working it back to the seam, bouncing one again into the grandstands.
Now, I love that orientation from Diaz on the set, though. He got behind that ball, squared all the way up to the net so he could push that all the way up into great hittable position for his big athletic partner.
Tight pass again, Nico. Gonna meet Alayo at the net. Good scoop from Diaz.
Oh my God.
It's Cuba dropping bombs out here on Stadium Court, Rich.
That is like Indiana Jones's bullwhip. The arm of Diaz just gets up and cracks through. Such a hurry.
My goodness. I think Cuba's made a statement here early. 5-1 on the board. It's been all power so far, but some precision serving here from Diaz, putting Capogrosso in a bit of an uncomfortable position inside out.
Yeah, I like what they're doing. It's, you know, if you were to look at it kind of surface level, it's not like these serves look crazy difficult, but as you said, the positioning of them and kind of the movement that they're forcing out of the Argentinians is what's paying them dividends.
So the early timeout from the Capogrossos is trying to weather this early storm. Hot start here, and as we know in Mexico, especially at this event, the heat is no joke, and so sustaining that sort of energy, not easy to do. 5-1. Option. Diaz is all over it. He wants the back tempo. He's going to unload. And Tomas getting stuck up at the net, not his normal position.
Yeah, that's just easy pickings for the long and lean Diaz in transition. Cuba rolling right now with a 6-1 from what's been the worst of the two sides.
Yes, correct. And the fans with a Cuba chant early in this gold medal match. Alayo missing that one. A touch deep on the jump.
Yeah, so I would say from that Cuba thinks the side that they just left is probably the tougher of the two sides as well. A little more tactical with their serve. Going back to the full jump serve was Alayo there.
Yes. Tomas there, a don't miss it serve, kind of, is what I kind of gathered from that contact. He's trying to put it in the court, not enough juice on it. Nico out wide. Man, another good touch from Diaz, not high enough for his partner to chase it down.
Yeah, that's the kind of zone he's in defensively, though, where he's disappointed in himself that he didn't come up with that immediately apologizes to Alayo as if that should be a scoop of chocolate, a scoop of vanilla for him.
Alayo detonating cross court and a flex down.
I think that's the resting position for his arms, is just elbows flared, a little chest and tricep flex.
My goodness gracious. How fun to be that athletic.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, in our dreams, huh? In our dreams. 8-3 Cuba. There's a bit more control on the top spin. Diaz, what else you got? And Diaz from 6 feet off the net. What can he do?
Falling away hard cross court. I mean, it just seems automatic once he digs the ball in any kind of settable position. Alayo, I mean, credit Alayo as well. He's putting up some beauties. But Diaz is just dialed defensively.
Tough serve. Good touch on the block, on the option. Diaz again. Getting the dig. Alayo trying to touch the top of the pin. I don't see many athletes doing that. We're trying to get that ball. I just don't. Standing vert. No approach there.
No approach. I just hit the top of the antenna, which is 11 feet, by the way.
Unbelievable athleticism on display here.
Oh, my dear Lord, Kyle.
You know, I thought we'd already seen some of the biggest swings so far from them, and that might be the best one yet. Oh my gosh. If we run a top 10 plays of the medal rounds today, or even of this tournament, you're going to see 4 of these swings in the top 5 already.
One of the things I like about the Cuban squad is you get both ends of the force equation. You get mass and you get acceleration. You get mass from Alayo and acceleration from Diaz. Another great spear. But Argentina able to clean it up.
Yeah, nothing clean going down from the side of Cuba. Everything being touched and or controlled. Diaz with that tempo. Off the hands, Diaz.
Interesting.
And they're going to call a touch on Diaz. Hard to see.
I think that's the right call.
Yeah.
Did we get another look at it there?
Let's see.
Yeah.
I think off the elbow of Diaz. Yeah. Good work from our referees.
Yeah, kind of the time it took the ball to hit the sand was indicative that it hit him as well.
Alayo out of the middle. Just cranking non-stop gas from Cuba.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a mistake, I think, after getting the stuff on Diaz. You got to stay on him, see if you can't get 2 or 3. Because if we remember, in their semifinal, he made a few mistakes. They were the beneficiary of Vanderveld netting. So
yes,
they kind of went by the wayside, but he can make some mistakes here and there.
Nice option from Tomas. We've seen more options from Tomas in this game already than we've seen.
Yeah, I like that. You can't face down this onslaught from Cuba in any kind of tentative way. You got to face it with aggressiveness of your own. Tomas doing a nice job of it there.
Nice serve, getting Alayo to fully lay out. And somehow, Cuba, some magic there.
Yeah, that was wild because Diaz almost gave him like a low 2-ball inside.
Yeah.
After the full layout pass from Alayo. It's manages to come up with the kill though, and he goes orchestra leader on the crowd.
Unreal. Diaz touching absolutely everything, and that one goes out. Jeez Louise.
I mean, again, we talked about the length of Diaz and how well he's been playing defense. He is combining all those elements beautifully right now, touching everything.
13-7 Cuba. High set to Nico, and Nico hangs, lets that ball drift, a touch, sneaking it under the block of Alayo.
One of his preferred swings. It is difficult to sneak that by the likes of Alayo, but he does a nice job with it there, Nico.
Go into our tech timeout here, and it's Cuba looking confident, Rich. I think great game planning, but also stellar passing and ferocious swings from them.
The only thing missing was ribbon twirling, but now we've got that, so.
All right, Coach Rich in the box. Talk to Argentina right now. More service pressure. What needs to be adjusted slightly to make Cuba a little uncomfortable?
Yeah, you probably do have to take a few more risks from the end line, because you're kind of in that position where you have to press. You don't like to be in positions where you have to press outside of your sort of comfort zone, so to speak, but that's where they find themselves right now, Argentina. They've got to start to generate some momentum. Kind of the easy serves are not going to get it done. I think also, we kind of talked about they got that block on Diaz and then immediately went to Alayo.
Yes.
You got to manage those type of game management type decisions a little bit better.
Yeah, great point there. 8-13. Nice swing, nice soft touch there from Nico, and Alayo off the trampoline to get that high line.
That's what it looked like. I mean, it literally looked like he just found a trampoline under the sand.
Oh my God, his chest above the net there. That is a scary sight to see. That is something you would see on indoor court, that kind of height, but we're seeing it out on the sand. 14-8. Casual from Diaz and continuing the onslaught.
Yeah, I mean, how about Diaz in the backcourt? The overhand dig, he's so loose, he's so free, and that's so important as a defender to not be, kind of operating with any tension of any sort.
Yeah, calm. Nice swing from Tomas, still trying to relieve a little bit of that pressure from his brother. Oh, and the trickler ace. That might spark some energy on the side of the Capogrossos.
That certainly helps. There we go, some great serving from Tomas from the batting. And as much of a route as this feels like, I mean, it's 15-11, so it's not wildly out of reach if you're Argentina.
No question. A nice run of points here for Argentina. Alayo out wide. Alayo just thundering one down the lane. Just, a lot of room to work with for the big boy.
You wonder if they're aware that the match has started or if they think they're still in warm-ups, because some of these hits are astounding.
Ricocheting off the block. Tomas continuing the option threat.
Yeah, I love that. No let up in the game of Argentina, and you have to really applaud that, especially with the barrage that they faced from Cuba.
Yes. 12-16, a very manageable side switch here for Argentina.
I feel kind of bougie up here. We're sipping espresso and watching some of the best volleyball we've seen all weekend.
Man, cheers to that, sir. Alayo going overhead. Alayo off the dome of Nico, who gets a hand on it. Not able to track it down. It's got to be one of the hardest plays of the blocker.
Yeah, when you take it in the forehead and then you have to try and locate it, not easy to do. A little bit of a good break that time for Cuba.
Nico gonna wipe his glasses, take an extra second. Granted, the glasses did go in the sand, so he definitely needs a wipe on this one. 17-12. Argentina need a side out here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's going to be called all day long. That's you, Rich, talking about pressing outside of our comfort zone a little bit.
Well, he just overthought that one. You know, he's been so good on the option. Just keep going with that until it stops working, and that time he tried to be a little bit overly deceptive, I feel like.
18-12. This one starting to come to a close here for Argentina. That one is Quetta as Capogrosso Nico, big bro, goes wide into the angle.
If you think about it, with the exception of those last 2 points that have kind of stretched this Cuban lead, after the 6-1 start, Argentina played essentially level with Cuba,
yes.
So they've got to remind themselves that in between sets here that we're right there. You know, I mean, they made obviously some fantastic looking plays, some unbelievable attacks and all that kind of stuff, but we're playing right there. They're obviously kind of letting this one go at the end of this first set.
Yeah, I think it's a good reminder is no matter how hard you bounce the ball, it's just 1 point.
Right.
1 point is 1 point. You're not going to dig everything. Teams are going to side out. They're siding out at 70%, whatever it is. So just accepting that and moving on.
I mean, we did switch ends at 16-12.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Which is less of a deficit than you faced after the first side change. So you did a nice job sort of climbing your way back in, or at least maintaining the level with Cuba.
Yep,
so keep that in mind as we head to set number 2.
Very manageable. Here is Alayo. That is covered, and the poke over, heads up play from Cuba. And Cuba put on a dominant performance here in set 1.
I'm up. He starts waving those arms. I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah, Alayo looking up here in the booth, in the stands, looking for some love. I mean, he's getting all the love, and rightfully so, as they exquisite, you know, in that first set, Rich.
Yeah, little if anything wrong with the Cuban game. Set number 1. I think they were very aggressive but prudent with their serving. Diaz was fantastic defensively. Lyle was devastating offensively, and you know, I mean, that was a good 1-2-3, I think.
Cuba's been playing brilliant volleyball this whole tournament long. Their only loss came in the first match against Germany, Louis Wust and Paul Henning. Since then, it's been 2-0 sweeps, except for David Schweiner and Andre Perisic, who obviously one of the best teams in the world. Cuba takes them to 3 and takes the win. I think that was a huge W for this Cuban team, who I think Czech boys are playing phenomenal volleyball to start the season as well.
Yeah, that Paul Henning, Louis Wust surprised a lot of teams here. We didn't get to see them in the medal rounds, but look out for them this season. They put together a great tournament down here in Mexico. There's a lot of good German teams.
Yikes.
Particularly on the men's side.
Yes.
Frechner and Winter, good. The Sagestetters were here playing some good volleyball. Obviously, we didn't even see Mills and Clements.
Right.
Ehlers Wickler.
Yep, not here. So, set number 2 here. It's a fresh set. Argentina's going to have to do their best to forget what happened in set number 1. Nice scoop from Tomas. Oh, man. The lefty overpass from Diaz.
Yeah. Just a nice Sunday afternoon walk in the park. Naslin Diaz out here, looks like. Chance to win his first gold medal, and he's not rattled whatsoever. Yeah, some of that frustration from the end of set number 1, I think, lingering here a little bit for Argentina. They got to be careful here as the second set gets going, because that set a little wide. Alayo doing a great job sealing the antenna, but a little exasperation from Big Bro.
Yes. Nice set there. That's a nice swing, risky, slow seam swing, but pays off for Nico.
I like that, though. When you slow down the arm, you know, a good blocker like Alayo is going to kind of read shot, and he goes up into the air with his arms, kind of opens up that little gap between him and the net.
Float serve down the seam. Soft hands. Diaz with the swing dig from Tomas. Tomas finding some space in the line. There's a nice turn and burn there for Argentina.
Yeah, Tomas has been so impressive, whether it's aggressive option swings, those kind of defensive plays, his serving. He's really come a long way in the last couple years of this partnership.
4 years together, these brothers. Obviously their whole lives together, but 4 years on the court. Nice backhand flipper save. It's going to be a swing. Diaz stays patient there and gets the dig. Tomas everywhere defensively right now. Cuba in all sorts of trouble. What am I saying? Trouble? No trouble whatsoever.
Well, yeah, the athleticism got him off the hook there. Both sides, that was kind of an unusual play from a ball control standpoint. All spraying around all over the place. Both Tomas and Naslin that we're not accustomed to seeing.
Alayo trying to crank that one. That one goes right in the middle of the net. Tough set. What a...
Oh, my goodness. Little extra lingering look from Naslin.
My goodness, the 22-year-old with a grown man swing right there. Jesus.
That's an appropriate reaction. It is the Lord's Day. Here's Championship Sunday. Jesus himself would be impressed with that spike from Naslin.
Boy, oh boy, Naslin. Overhead. Nice touch there. It's going to be another chance here for Argentina. Tomas in transition off the hands and to the beach there.
Alayo asking the referees, our boy Brig up top, make sure we pay attention to some of the chatter coming through the net.
Indeed.
That's one of the ways Argentina is going to try and work themselves back into this match, is maybe get under the skin of Alayo a little bit.
Yeah, Argentina definitely play their best when they're a little fiery, a little chippy. Need to find something on their side.
That one slips through the hands.
Yeah, a rare ball handling error here today. Haven't seen too many of those actually. So a lead here for Argentina, 5-4. Tempo to Alayo. Alayo looking for a home run swing, but I think catches a little forearm shiver on that one.
Yeah, not sure what happened there. But this is good news if you're Argentina. After that absolute detonation for Cuba, the wheels starting to loosen just a little bit.
Good pass from Alayo. And snapping it down the line. Nice calm reaction there from Alayo after that error.
Yeah, that's awfully crisp. High and snappy from the big fella. Yeah, but I like what Argentina's doing. You know, Cuba obviously very fiery, very emotional, but if you can get into a little bit of a battle with them, sometimes they can get distracted and send too much of their energy your way instead of kind of keeping it towards their own roles and their own rhythm.
Yes. Agree. There's Alayo, put a little too much energy into that serve. Argentina holding on to 2-point lead, 7-5. Back to Alayo. Alayo there. No question about that. Just tagging that right foot of Tomas.
There's a no-doubter.
Yes. The Cuba chance coming in here. Go. Good dig from Diaz. Little inside. Is that one out? It's a little long.
I think it's just long. Rick's going to go have a look, but even from here, I feel like I can see the ball mark just deep.
Not a lot of room for Diaz to work with there, and I thought maybe he made a miraculous swing.
Well, I mean, he had the width dialed. It just was ever so slightly out long.
Yeah.
Punto de Argentina 8-6 en el cambio. Queremos agradecer al Caribe mexicano por recibirnos
Yet another good defensive play from Diaz.
Yes, yes. No question. When we talk about defenders staying low defensively, think about someone at the height of Diaz and how much it requires him to get so low to make these great digs. He's doing an excellent job.
Just barely missing. Now, that's an interesting concept, though. You know, sometimes I feel like that can be a little bit overstated. You know, low gets too often interpreted into kind of an overly squatty type of a thing. I like the athletic concept in defensive positioning, and Cuba not short on athleticism.
No, no question. As that Nico high line goes over the top, and yeah, I think low or balanced defensively is different for every athlete.
Sure.
And where they move the quickest. You know, if you look at Ahmed Tijan, crazy depth, but still so fast. You know, I don't think any other athlete can be that low and move like he can.
You know, most people not as explosive out of the hole, so to speak, as Tijan is. Yeah. Well, there you go. Just right off the top with no regard for human life.
Most people not contacting the ball at 11.5 feet, as we saw there from Noslin.
Hitting down onto the 6'9" block of Nico.
Pressure continuing on Nico Capogrosso. And somehow Nico, slimy little cut there underneath the block of Alayo.
And he really generates a lot of angle on that swing from out wide of the pin.
Short serve, pushing Alayo all the way down. Alayo painting sidelines out there.
Now, what I love about that is they draw him in, Argentina, with the short serve and kind of try and interrupt the length of his approach, but he gets wide, so he still has kind of some stretch, some athleticism he can put behind that swing.
Yeah, I love that point. And he gets an approach, granted it'd be a little sideways, but still a runway.
Yeah, you're just looking for length, right? It doesn't have to be front to back necessarily.
Yes, so true. There's a good swing. Nico bringing a little bit more heat on that pace, on that swing.
Now, Argentina really settled into a nice rhythm right now. The onslaught has cooled a touch from Cuba.
Alayo back to the line. That one even sharper than the previous one.
Yeah, it's so crazy because that's kind of the same exact look you're going to get if he beats it hard cross court, right? Does a nice job of keeping that contact point high and just coming right over the top of that ball down the line.
So I agree with you, Rich. Argentina starting to settle in a little bit, playing a little bit cleaner, controlling that pass set. Nico's starting to find his rhythm inside out. And again, credit to Tomas for doing his best to relieve some of that pressure with the options early on to give his big brother kind of the green light to say, hey, I got you. You just need to side out every third ball, whatever it is, every other ball. And so I like the way Argentina is moving out there right now.
Yeah. Now, you don't get to the finals of an elite tournament, if you think one run and you just pack it in and you call it a day, you knew Argentina was in it for the long haul. They were going to withstand some punches from Cuba and come back with some fight of their own.
I mean, those are some heavy punches that Cuba is throwing, looking like Muhammad Ali out there. Mike Tyson dropping some bombs.
You had to get hit by Diaz or Alayo. Which one is you? It's a loss either way, but I'm probably going to go Diaz.
Yes. And a net violation from Tomas. Tomas giving the down referee the thumbs up there. Our boy Jean on the sand.
Jean what?
It's long.
Yeah, that was almost amazing contortionism from Tomas there, but just can't quite avoid the net.
Higher set to Nico. Nico banging it back towards the line there. Good control that time for Argentina.
That's how much respect Cuba had for that cross-body swing of Nico Capogrosso from the left, though. They were both blocker and defender on the line.
Diaz gets a turn inside out.
Oh my goodness. How about the big right hand? Nico at the net going full split block.
Man, go gadget arm with that right hand from Nico. And it's not always about the height, Rich, as we know. It's about taking away angles. And I don't know if we'll get another look at that block, but that is taking away that low angle with the right hand, as Noslin's been putting in some work in that low angle. Good play to keep that one out of the net. Tomas can have a turn in transition. Hasn't allowed swings yet in this game, and that is filthy from Tomas Capogrosso.
Yeah, indeed. Precision straight up the line.
So 14-11, Argentina putting a little pressure with the service. Nothing special, just causing some sets off the net a little bit. Excuse me, passes off the net here for Cuba. Noslin into the wind, the no look, Tomas on the run, and a crucial side out for Cuba.
Yeah, I like what Cuba's doing. You know, even though Noslin goes into the tougher side to hit around the back, he gets that lower set. That really puts that extra level of stress on the defense of Argentina, even though it doesn't allow him to get full extension offensively.
That serve's going to drift wide. Without the wind, who knows, maybe that one stays, but that thing's drifting and moving. (15-12). Tomas has had a lot of success here from the service line. Nice fast hands, a nice soft shot there over the shoulder from Diaz.
Yeah, really good set from Alayo to get his big partner in hittable position. Yeah, so tight battle here. 2-point lead for Argentina. Cuba switching to the better of the two sides. What can they come up with from the end line? They haven't had a ton of success in this set, putting pressure on Argentina from the end line.
Nico with that loopy set out wide. Sharp angle there for Nico Capogrosso.
That's such a good shot. Diaz, who's one of our top servers in this tournament, has to come up with something a little bit better, I think. That's just too easy for Nico Capogrosso.
Alayo out of the middle. Alayo back to the line. That one's not coming back.
Yeah, again, I mean, worth the same amount of points as a little knuckle pokey. So right back on task for Argentina.
Such a good serve from Alayo. Tomas looking for some hands. Don't think he's going to find them. Trying to find something.
I mean, Alayo was up there with the big spread block. But Tomas, I think, just trying to go a little harder angle than he meant to.
Yeah. And I like that move from Alayo. Tomas known for a bit more sharpness on his range. And take away some of those angles. Chipping to the line. Diaz there. Can he put this one away? What a touch from Tomas, but freight train coming in hot, Richie.
Yeah, I mean, Alayo has a way of just keeping Diaz in rhythm transition. I mean, that's a great scoop, great timing on that run. Noslin Diaz defensively, but just the pace on that set into the wind from Alayo just kept his boy hammering.
I mean, we're way up in the booth here, and it's still a scary sight for us when you see Diaz come barreling in. And after the three-point run from Cuba to tie things back up, Argentina will take their time out. I mean, if I'm Argentina, this is fine. You're going to weather a little bit of that storm. We've been playing good ball. Let's get back to what we've been doing so well. Little wave going around here.
We haven't seen that a lot this weekend, but everyone doing a great job. Man, our MC, I know he's a little bit torn because he's from Argentina.
Yes.
So it's tough for him to remain impartial here. But he's been doing an unbelievable job all week. He might have the toughest gig out of everyone.
Oh my gosh,
I mean, every match on Stadium.
Yeah, we've just been here, quarterfinals on. He's been here all weekend long, bringing the energy. That is not easy to do. Shout out to him.
His voice was raspy on Thursday.
Yeah. Now the timeout, 16 all here in the gold medal match. Set number 2, Cuba taking set number 1. Alayo is up so big.
So big. That's a great swing. No tentativeness there at all from Tomas around to the right side. I really like the prudence in serving from Alayo as well, just keeping it on Argentina, making Tomas earn that side out.
Yep. So good timeout, Argentina. Get the side out.
Very close. That was a confident lead from Alayo, considering how close that was to the end line.
One of those good misses, if you will, from Tomas. Option is not dug, and Tomas sees one of his first serves in a minute.
That's not an easy swing for Nico.
No. We'll switch sides, getting into the business end here in this second set. Cuba looking to wrap this one up in 2. Argentina with other plans. Nice snap there into the seam for Diaz.
That was a good serve, kind of sneaky. We haven't seen a lot of short serving going the way of Noslin Diaz necessarily, but he handled that very well.
Float serve. Staying on Tomas. Tomas there. There's that whip of an arm from the youngster.
That was a tremendous set from big bro Nico as well. Pass got a little tight to the net. He just kind of flicked it up there with his thumbs. Luciano De Checo would be proud of that.
Alayo to tie things up into the hands of Capogrosso. Big block there from big brother Nico.
He got it. Great, well-timed move. Big into the angle, and Diaz can't come up with the cover. So now that is the cushion Argentina was looking for.
Set point number 1 for Argentina. Alayo's going to change it up, go behind. Nice fast dart to the sideline from Alayo.
I like that wrinkle there. Once Nico gets you on kind of the traditional offensive approach, do something different. A little tempo around the right side. But still a set point for Argentina. Can they close and send us to a third?
Diaz going line to line with Tomas.
It cannot just yet.
Alayo He's been a little quiet up the net blocking in the last couple points, but comes up with his most clutch block yet.
Huge. Kind of went into the spread block and then closed his hands on that line swing attempt last minute. Tomas, another chance. And another stop, Alayo. Oh my goodness.
That is a scary sight to see. Nowhere for Tomas to go, trying to sneaky low angle. Alayo shutting it down, giving his team gold medal point.
And how quickly the tides can turn. I mean, it was one swing to send it to a third, and now you got a side out just to stay alive. Seconds later. Guarantee this is going into Tomas. What does he have? A youngster.
Deep float. Tomas, tempo.
Oh, back. He has that. How about it, kid?
Whew. That was a confident swing there. Down the line for Tomas Capogrosso to stay alive. Icy swing there from the kid. all. We'll switch sides. Got to win by 2.
That was a fantastic swing. And Alayo gets you back-to-back here, a little bit at a loss for what could possibly be open. Just barely missing that one.
I like it. I like the serve though, Richie. I mean, it's just centimeters away. Almost an ace, giving themselves set point, but now Alayo's going to go back here for a second match point for Cuba.
Yeah, he's been just kind of keeping these in. Does he crack one? Ooh, that is the one. That is the one he wanted.
Yes.
He loves that one right on the sideline. So a couple near misses from both sides.
On we go. 2 match points not taken from Cuba. Diaz a little inside. He loves that swing back to the line.
Tremendous use of his length there, because that was a bit of a trap set low and inside, and able to just extend and get that thumb down, as you like to say. Go back to the sideline with it.
Tomas out wide. Chipping to the
there
line.
It is. It's gold medal for Cuba. Another swat to close it out. Alayo. How about it, K-Friend?
Alayo, an absolute monster in this match. Up at the net, not letting anything go down on him. High, low, it doesn't matter.